Let's wait for 2 more minutes and I'll start this. Okay. Am I audible?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, good morning all. So from the yesterday's class, we have learned or came to know like what is about CSV, like what are the topics we are going to cover. Okay. So and what is the duration, and tomorrow we are going to learn like what is computerized system and why it is required, and what is the flow of the validation, like while validating the computerized systems, what are the steps or stages involved in validation, and what are the different environments used in the validation and why it is used. Okay, if time permits, I'll just cover methodologies as well. Okay. So what the term we are using, uh, in is the computerized system, not the computer system. Okay. So let me tell you the difference between the computer system and a computerized system first. Okay. A computer system is nothing but which consists of the hardware components that is assembled to perform in conjunction with the software program. So computer, like whatever the laptops we have in with us, or whatever the laptops we are using in our routine life, it is nothing but a combination of the hardware and the software together. That's it. So that is called a computer system. Okay. When we call as a computerized system collectively controls, okay, the performance and execution of one or more automated process under functions is known as a computerized system. Okay, see, the computer system is only consists of the hardware and the software, but a computerized system may consist of hardware, firmware, software, control function, or processes, equipment, operating procedures, the people who are handling it, and the network components connected to it, and other systems, and what are the media connected to it. So all together we can call it as a computerized system. Okay. For example, if we take in the lab the LIMS software, or the LIMS software connected to your normal computers. Okay, so that is termed as a computerized system. Okay, so that is nothing but like which controls the performance and execution of one or more automated processes, okay, or functions, is known as a computerized system. So let me tell you like what are the components of a computerized system. So as I informed earlier, the computer system is mainly consists of the software and hardware and the firmware which supports the hardware. So that is about the computer system. Okay, whereas the computerized system, the main components or what are the components it is having is the software as well as the hardware. Like whatever the computer system we are having, when that is for that computer system, when we link an equipment or when we download in new software, okay, along with the operating procedures like SOPs or training materials like to operate that, and along with the people who is operating that, okay, and it includes the network or other standalone computerized systems, if any, connected to it, other systems, media, or people and equipment process all together are the components of the computerized system. So all together can be termed as a computerized system. Okay, is that clear to all?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Okay, fine. So I am starting the classes little slowly, okay, because today we have entered into the topic. Okay, so I'll be starting little slow and later we can speed it up. Okay. Next, what is validation? Sorry, that slide was missed. I'll update that in the next class. Okay. Coming to the validation, like what is validation? Okay, validation is nothing but the which is a documented evidence which provides a high degree of assurance that a specific process will consistently, okay, produce a product meeting its predetermined specification is known as validation. Give me a minute.
क्या भाव चला ಎಷ್ಟರ ಇದೆ
Sorry for the interruption. So what is meant by a validation? Validation is nothing but establishing a documented evidence which provides the high degree of assurance, okay, that is specific will consistently produce a product meeting its predetermined specification. So if I can tell in a normal, easily understandable way, validation is nothing but following the same process with the fixed input to get the consistent result. Consistent output is known as the validation. Okay. So when we apply that to a computerized system, we can tell that as a computerized system validation. Okay. So computerized system validation is nothing but achieving and maintaining compliance with applicable regulation and fitness for intended use by adopting the principles, approaches, and life cycle activities within the framework of validation plans and reports. The application of appropriate operational controls throughout the life cycle of the system. So the full definition of computerized system validation is this, and if I need to explain this in detail, so what is for what the system is intended to. So for example, if you take the limbs, okay, limbs we are using to manage the laboratory data, okay, mostly. So whether it is serving that purpose or not, okay, whether whatever for the intended use for which we procured the system or the business procured the system, for that it should be used with throughout the by having the compliance throughout the entire life cycle of the system with the applicable regulations. Okay, so how we are going to achieve this? We are going to achieve and maintain compliance by adopting the principles. Okay, whatever the principles or the regulatory guidelines we have, that by adopting that we are going to achieve that. And whatever the approaches we have, like GAM5 guidelines or whatever the methodologies or approaches we have, and life cycle activities within the framework of validation plans and reports. So whatever within the framework or within the scope of validation, so by executing that, we are going to achieve and maintain the compliance and fitness for intended use of the system. Okay, and the application of appropriate operational controls throughout the life cycle of the system. So while handling the application, so we should have the appropriate operation controls. Okay, that is not while only the execution of the software, we should have that throughout the entire life cycle of the system. Okay, that is nothing but the computerized system validation. Okay, so yesterday I have already told you a few points like why validation is required. Okay, so or what is your idea if we don't do the validation? Okay, I just want to hear from you before I explain like why validation is required. Okay, can each one of you tell one point like why validation is required, or if you don't do the validation, what are the consequences that we may face? Okay, either it's correct or not, that's not a problem, just tell your opinion on that. Gandhi, may I know like why validation is required? what
Yeah.
what are your thoughts on that?
Validation is yeah. Validation is required as per our FDA guidelines. It is mandatory to use any system or any instrument or anything we need to incorporate in our production area. It has to be validated, and validation is required to control what we have to do the day-to-day activities, and it has to be validated because validation is nothing but the evidence is nothing but whatever we are creating the data, whatever we are generating the things in the validation systems. So validation is required because of means mainly it is a requirement of the FDA guidelines.
Okay, great. Thank you, Gandhi. Any other responses? Bona?
It is required to identify the system consistency.
Good. Okay. Yeah. Thanks, Sanjeev. Any other answers?
And also, if any failures in the system, that needs to be controlled. So that can be done through our validation.
Okay,
Any
great.
power failure or shutdown.
Okay, great. Anji, whatever the answers you are giving, like it's very nearby, but yeah, thanks for the attempt. I'll just just correct you. Okay, like there are
Yeah,
few corrections required for that. Yeah, any other answers? Why validation is required? Venugopal, Suresh.
To check like whether it is meeting our predefined requirements or not.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So that is why we are performing the validation. Okay, yeah, that is also, yes, correct. Okay, any other answers? Bona, you are telling something.
Yeah, to avoid data integrity issues.
Oh, great. Okay. Okay. Any other answers? Mahesh, you are telling. Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Suresh, just Venkat here. Can you
Yeah.
hear me? Sorry for the interruption. As the validation is nothing but we have to prove it our evidence. Okay, our systems and the procedures, everything is a compliance with in line with our regulatory requirements, and that is show you to evidence that is to improve our process and our procedures in line with our in line with our regulatory requirements, as well as to easily understand the people what is before going to use any system. This should be validated to procedures as well as the systems is as per our regulatory requirements. So we are bound to do it in validation for every system whenever using any compliance wise, that is a required for our systems to validate. That is my understanding.
Yes. Yes. Correct. Correct. Venkat. Any other answers? Okay. So thank you all. Thanks for your responses. So here are the points why validation is required. See, the first thing why we are doing the validation for a computerized systems, and mostly which are related to the pharma industry or the medical device industry or the clinical trial industry. So mostly we are doing to these systems or whatever the vendors they are providing the systems to these companies. So we are doing the validation. Why? Because see, whatever the data we are generating from the system, okay, so or we are testing the quality of the product by using those validated systems. Okay, so it may have direct impact on the patient safety and the product quality as well. Okay, that is the main point why we are doing the validation. Okay, so if you can see, it's a regulatory requirement. Whatever the regulatory bodies we have, like the US FDA, MHRA, or TGA, or other regulatory bodies. Okay, so as per their requirement, why they are asking us to validate a system? What is their requirement? Is nothing but the critical quality attributes or whatever the criticality of the product quality. Okay, and the patient safety is their ultimate goal. Okay, so to meet that, we are validating the software. That is one of the main reason, and to prevent the software bugs from reaching to production system or while using the system. So whenever we procure a software, okay, so if we don't validate that software and if we are using live in the live in production, okay, or if we are started using without testing or without validating that, so what are the consequences we may get? We may get the software bugs, like what are the defects are there in that particular software. Okay, while while developing that software, there might be some bugs, or if it is already readily available in the market also, they may not configure properly, or there may be some deficiencies in the software. So we have to check that properly while before going live into the production. So in order to check all those, we are validating the software. Okay, and to avoid consequences that might arise due to incorrect software functioning. Okay, so this is a serious point, as someone of you said, like data integrity issues may occur because of this as well. Okay, let me explain you in detail. So for example, if you are going to your software and just opening file open or file new, when you click on file new, instead of opening a new file, if it is editing an existing file, okay, so the consequences or the functionality is totally changed there, right? Because you are looking for something and it is opening some other thing. Okay, so it is not working as per our intended use or as per our commands. Okay, or for example, if you are trying to close any document in that particular software or any report in that particular software, when you click on close, if it is deleting that record. Okay, so these are the examples of the incorrect functioning of the software which may happen if we don't test it properly. So what the validation team will do, or the along with the business and the testing team, that is why we are doing the testing. Okay, these all steps will be involved in the operational qualification, where we will test each of the functionality. Like if there is file new, will like the testing team will go there and they just click on file, and after that they will click on new, and they will check whether the new page or new report or new whatever it is opening or not. Okay, in the same way, all functions they will all functionalities they will check in that computerized system. And if you see in most of the computerized systems, even though in your laptop the delete button is there, okay, the delete button it will not work because it will be blocked by the IT team in order not to delete any of the data. And even in the software also, if you have an option to delete, so that it will not work because that will be disabled by the IT administrators in order not to delete the data. Okay, so this is like we are checking each and every functionality of the software, whatever included in that particular software. Okay, so if we are not checking that, so what are the consequences that we may face is like the data integrity issues. Like as I said, if you close, if it deletes, or if you open, if it modifies the data without any reason, or if it is not asking audit trail, or if it is showing a wrong audit trail. Okay, if you edit the data, if it is showing as the data is deleted by you. So because the auditors will completely rely on the data that is provided by the softwares. Okay, so if you can see, the trend of the audit is also changed. Earlier they used to come to us and they used to ask like whatever documents that they are going to verify and all, and they used to verify and they used to go like long ago. Okay, and but now if you see, they are just coming and they are just telling the agenda, and they are just going to the laboratory or production area, and they are just sitting in front of the system and calling the SMEs and asking to open the software and directly checking the audit trials or wherever the loophole. See, the auditors are well trained in order to catch these points. Okay, they are particularly trained in that software, or whoever having enough knowledge on that softwares will only comes for the audit. Okay, not all the people, like if you are if 4 auditors are coming, 4 auditors will not have the enough knowledge on the software. At least out of 4, 1 or 2 will be having a very good knowledge of the softwares and the loopholes. They know everything about the softwares. One IT guy will be coming with them. Okay, so this is the main area where we need to check the correct functioning of the software in order to avoid the incorrect functioning of the software. Okay, and validation will give us assurance that developed product is nothing but the software, will function accurately and will produce a results as intended, and to implement control of operation that are critical to product quality and the patient safety. So by doing the validation, we are getting an assurance whatever the software validated with that. Okay, it will function accurately throughout the entire life cycle of the system, and it will give you results what are intended to. Okay, like when we are performing the water content, so it will give the results in such a way, like by using TIMO, if we are performing the water content, it will give the accurate results of the water content. So why we are using only TIMO for the water content? Why? Because we are we procure the system for that particular purpose. Okay, that is nothing but the intended use. Okay, and to implement control of functions. Okay, so what are the functions or operations that we are doing, so which may impact the product quality and the patient safety as well. So to implement those control of operations, okay, where it should not impact the product quality. Okay, For example, if we are not validating the software properly, what will happen? So while validating the software, if we given a different units, or while validating the software, if we mark the result as 50%, marking in the sense the calculation wrong, or somewhere units, or some of the other things we mentioned wrong. Okay, so what will happen? Your result should come as 100%, even though it is giving the 100% result, but it may show in your screen as 50% only. So these kind of issues will come if we are not validating the software, or if we are not validating the software in a proper way. That is why we are having the test procedures, like what is the procedure that we need to follow, because each person is having their own ideas. Okay, so that they can implement their own ideas. That is why pharma companies are having a standard operating procedures, or standard testing procedures. Okay, all these things in order to achieve the compliance, or in order to achieve the accurate and correct results. Okay, these are the points why the validation is required. Okay, is it clear to all? Any doubts before going to the next slide? Okay.
Suresh, Venkat here. You're showing slides here.
Yes, I am presenting my screen. You are not able to view?
Yeah, I can't able to see.
No, no.
Yeah, we are not able
Me
to
also.
see.
Yeah.
Just
We can't able to see.
Yeah, it's cool.
you know.
Now it's
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Mahesh. So next, coming to the flow of validation. Okay, so in yesterday's class I have explained you, like what are the different modules or topics that I am going to cover. Okay, so all these topics, okay, from where I got that is completely from the validation flow, or those are the complete documents required while validating the computerized system. And here where it involves in each phase. First of all, see what triggers for a validation of a system. Okay, or what triggers to procure a new system is like whatever the requirement the users are having, or the users are nothing but the business team. Okay, like the end users, if you say like QC laboratory, AO laboratory, or whatever the lab people, or clinical trial industry, if they want to enter their subject data into the system, they need a software which is validated. So those points will trigger to the requirement of a new software or a new system. Okay, so there it will start with the initiation phase, where the requirement of the new system will be there. Okay, so after that we'll be doing the vendor or supplier audit, and after that we'll do the system categorization, we'll perform the system risk assessment, and finally we'll procure the system from the vendor. So this is the complete flow of the or life cycle of validation, computerized system validation. Okay, after that we'll be doing the validation planning. Okay, how to do the validation of the procured system. That will first we'll start with the user requirement specification. User requirement specification will be prepared by the users. Okay, like the business team along with coordination with the QA and the validation team, like what are their requirements. For example, if I explain you in a normal terminology, so if you need a phone, if you need a mobile phone with your specific requirements, like I need to have only one camera, but that is of 128 pixel, okay, megapixel. Okay, and I need a camera of 5 inches with a battery of 6000 mAh. Okay, so with an internal storage of 256 GB. Okay, so we I need a processor of so and so processor. So these are all are your requirements. Okay, so in the same way, whatever the business team for their purpose. Okay, whatever the analysis they want to do or whatever the software they want to feed their data. So depending on that, they will prepare the user requirement specification. In the upcoming classes, I'll explain in detail what is URS. Okay. The URS consists of all those things, like what is the requirement of the end users or the business team. Okay. So depending on that, they will prepare the URS and they will provide it to the vendor. Once they provide it to the vendor, vendor will do the functional specification. Okay, depending on the URS, and after that the design and configuration specification. After doing the functional specifications, they will design the system, and they will configure. They will put the configuration specifications as per our requirement. Okay, in this stage, they will build the system. Okay, they will do the coding or configuration that will be tested and commissioned before given to us. So after that, we'll do the installation qualification. Once we receive the system, the first step we'll do the installation qualification, which is nothing but the IQ. Okay, so installation qualification is tested against the design and configuration qualification or specification. So whatever the design specifications they are giving or whatever the configuration specifications they are giving, that whether it is there or not, whether it is as per our requirement or not, what is the system architecture, so what we defend, whether they have provided according to that or not, that we will be checking in the installation qualification. Okay, next after that we will perform the operational qualification. Operational phase, which involves creation of method or testing or many things like electronic records and audit trail verification. Okay, and many things that we will inform the privilege verification, and we'll do the role based testing here. So all these, it will be as part of the operational qualification, which we will test against the functional specification. Whatever the vendor is giving, like these are the functions we are having in the software, that will be tested in the operational qualification phase. And finally the performance qualification. So user says like, see, this is our purpose, we need to get the LIMS software so that to enter the data of the systems and it will give the result. So that we'll check in the performance qualification. So they will enter the software and they will see whether it is giving the correct result or not. Okay, so for the templates we will be building that internally, we'll be creating that internally, that is secondary part. But whatever our requirement is there, whether that is fulfilled or not, that we'll be checking in the performance qualification. And finally the validation reporting. So after completion of all these testings, IQ, OQ, PQ, okay, we'll be doing the validation reporting, like we can say the validation summary report. Okay, after preparation of the validation summary report, we'll issue a certification for use. So we can, like the validation team representatives will inform to the business by providing a document saying that your system is ready for use, so you can use the system, and we'll release the system for the production use. Okay, so after releasing the system for the production use, so we have to perform the regular maintenance or validation maintenance. Okay, which is nothing but like we are going to perform the periodic review, or if the system needs for example, if you are using a software, okay, like Empower, which is having a lower version, which needs an update to the next version of the software. So in that case, we will follow again the same procedure. We'll prepare the validation plan. We'll check what are the user requirement specifications. See, user requirement specification is not required at all the time. So while using the software initially, that we'll do that, or if there is any update to the system, that we'll check in particular. Okay, and again after using the software or the system to production, we need to monitor that continuously, either through the periodic review or as I said, like periodic review plays a major role to align, to check the with the regulatory expectations or whatever the revised guidelines. So that periodic review will, while doing the periodic review, we'll check like what are the gaps we have, and if the validation is required or we have to have the procedural controls, that we'll check and that will perform. Okay, like if we feel like the current version of the software needs to be up version, then again we need to follow the same process. Okay, so in while following the same process, we don't need to follow all the steps because they are not going to do the design and coding again. Okay, because it's already well established software we have with us. So what are the design or coding level changes that they have done, that only we will check in the installation qualification later. Okay, so this is how we are going to do the validation, and we are going to check whether it is meeting the regulatory requirements or regulatory guidelines or not. So that we are going to check during the validation of the software or during the maintenance of the software. Okay, during the periodic review, I can say. So after that, if we feel like the existing system is no longer used, okay, for example, I can say earlier we used to have a Tymo. Okay, why I'm taking the example of Tymo, like most of the lab people are familiar with that, so I'm taking that example. So Tymo is the software which is used to for the water content and the assay analysis. So if you take that, earlier we have the version of 2.3. Now it migrated to servers. Earlier it is a standalone instrument. Now it migrated to servers and it's up version to 2.5. So all the labs within that organization, I let me say like an X organization is using the 2.3 Tymo. Now they have up version to 2.5. So after up versioning from 2.3 to 2.5, if they feel like we are not using 2.3 anymore, or we have upversioned all our systems to 2.5, then what the next step they have to follow as per the flow is the system decommissioning. Okay, so they have to decommissioning the existing computerized system. Okay, after that, okay, they can use the other systems. Like they should not keep this 2.3 system, even though they are not using that software anymore. They should not keep live in production. Okay, because there are chances of other people generating the data in that particular system, so which will lead to a serious data integrity issues. So many of the large MNC companies have received the data integrity or 483s, okay, because of keeping live the old inactive systems which are not or no longer in use. So this is the complete flow of the computerized system validation. Okay, so after decommissioning the systems, we are having a computerized computer system registry where we are entering the complete details of the systems which we are validating, which we are going to decommissioning, which we are starting validation. So all those will be entered into that computer system registry where we are tracking all the systems which we are having in that particular organization will be tracked to that. Okay, so you may have that doubt. Okay, how we know that particular system is decommissioned if we need to check later or during the audits. The auditor will come and straight away they will ask like, okay, give me the list of the decommissioned systems. Okay, and where it was used. So see, they can simply run a code, okay, by using the command prompt, so that or by taking the help of the IT guys. If they run a simple command prompt, okay, the auditors will come to know like what are the systems that are still in active state, which they are not using from long back. Okay, like just like your WhatsApp last seen status. Okay, you can see, right? If the other people enable that, you can see like when they have last seen. Okay, in the same way, in whatever the computers connected to a corporate network or to a network, so with that we are able to track by sitting in front of our system. Okay, like when this particular system is used, when this particular system was last logged off or last restarted. Okay, when this particular software in the system was last used. So everything can be tracked. So auditors will find these easy tips to get these kind of things. Okay, so this is the complete flow of the computerized system validation. Okay, hope you understand it better. Any doubts on this?
Suresh, I have one doubt in this.
Yeah, please.
Suppose while doing the validation planning, if you face any problem in that, are you going to register anywhere, or are you going to do according to the regulatory guidelines? Suppose any errors we have been noticed, are you documenting anywhere?
Yes. See, for that we having a incident reporting procedure. Okay. Whatever see, while preparing the validation plan itself, we will mention like what are the discrepancies, okay, or deviations handled. Sorry, while deviation occurred during the validation, will be documented. Okay, and it will be handled through the incidents, or we can say like the defects as well. Okay, so we will raise the incidents depending on the category of the incidents, whether it's general incident. I'll explain you in further classes in detail those things. We are documenting those. Yes.
So one more thing, actually, suppose as you said, like 2.3 to 2.5. So there not be major changes in that. In that scenario, are you going to revalidate computer from initial onwards, or otherwise you are going to focusing on the particular parameter only?
See, the extent of validation completely depends on the assessments. Okay, here at the starting itself, we are doing the assessments, right? System categorization, system risk assessment. So this, it will give us the deliverables, like what needs to be tested and what testing is not required. Okay, so depending, so we have a few questions in the system risk assessment. So in that, whether it's an existing software or it's a new software, so what are the changes we have? So all those will come in the risk assessment. Depending on the risk assessment and the categorization of the systems, so we will be deciding the deliverables. Okay, if you say like 2.3 to 2.5, it's not like a small change, it's a very big change, because 2.3 or the standalone instruments where the data will reside in that particular systems only, where the data will store in that systems only, where 2.5 is completely server based. So we have to build a new server, we have to qualify that server, and we have to check whether the data is storing in that server or not. And if you see in 2.3, only we can see that particular system data in that particular system only. That is nothing but standalone instruments. Okay, but if you come to a 2.5 system, which is a completely server based, where you can see the data of any systems which is connected to that particular server in any of the systems, right? So anyway, the question is like whatever the enhancement or whatever the update is small or big, it depends on the risk assessments, like what is the extent of testing we need to do. Clear? So any other questions?
Yeah,
Suresh
Suresh.
Venkat here.
Yeah, Venkat.
Suresh, just one question here, like, when you're starting the computer system validation, where the QC quality is involving, which stuff the quality is involving?
Approach.
Sorry, you are telling like what
Yeah.
is the role of quality people?
Yeah, quality is involved because there is a started from URS, from step onwards, the quality is involving, or before that?
See, ideally, if we say from the URS, the quality will be involving, okay, because that is the first triggering point to procure a system, okay. Like whatever the requirements we are having offline, we'll prepare the URS first, or we'll discuss with the validation team, this is our requirement. So whatever the point that is triggering to discuss your requirements, like from the QC and is the URS, okay. So, and they will involve in many phases of the validation. If you take the operational qualification, whatever the method creation or whatever the testing we have, or whatever the checking of the options, like the analyst role, we have to check the privileges, the reviewer role, we have to check the privileges. So all in all these, the operational qualification and in performance qualification as well. Okay, So these people will be quality people will be involved. Okay, for the roles and responsibilities, I am going to explain in future classes separately in a detailed way, because that is also one of the major thing. Okay, you should know what are the roles of the validation people, what are the roles of the testing team, and who are the testing team, what is the role of IT here in validation, and what level they will involve in the validation.
So
Okay.
just one more here. When the functional specification and design the specification, are there application people only is doing, or our people also to involving to see what's going on, what is the application is working out? Because
See,
there is no evidence document evidence for us when they're doing this thing.
see, you will give the URS. As I said,
Yes,
you will
yes.
give the requirements of your mobile. What is the requirements you want for your mobile? Okay.
Okay.
So as per that, the vendor will do that. Okay, the Apple company or the Nokia company or Samsung company will design the functionality of that as per your requirements. Okay, user asked me for 128 megapixel camera, so let me fix that 128 megapixel camera. User asked me for 6000 mAh battery. Okay, let me fix that. Okay, so that they will do. Okay, and for whatever the softwares or whatever like the functionality of that, they need to do a design and coding, right? So for that they will do here. Okay, so this is not our part. This is like a completely vendor part. Okay.
Okay.
So that is what I'm telling. I'll just explain you the roles and responsibilities, which will clear all your doubts, and which will give you a better idea on whose role is what. Okay.
If you don't mind, can I ask one more question? Is it okay?
Oh, no problem. You can, yeah.
Yeah. Suresh, when you are updating in operational system like a Windows 7 to Windows 10.
Okay.
So recently we have been facing like, I'm not involving anything in the computer system validation. So in our people I had to contact with him. So when you using the operating system from Windows 7 to Windows 10, that is like, computer system validation, whatever said earlier, not a computer system, because our operation systems are using for our end users, like normal users as well as.
Okay.
Correct. So when you updating these things, they have a phase issue in that we have a UV spectrophotometer. So whatever they have, vendor is provided the whole software. These operation systems are doesn't exist because of there is issue in the opening login, and there is a lot of audit trails, something is showing in the errors. So how they can deal with these issues with because the vendor can able you didn't going to update any application with respect of our Windows 10.
Yes.
So how they can handle these issue with our existing lab? What can you how do you face it?
See, first of all, if you are doing a that kind of update, like whatever the update you are doing a Windows level operating software mainly, you have to do an analysis of what are the systems will support that particular operating software. Okay, first that need to be done. For example, if you are having a 10 softwares, or it's not a computer system, Venkat, it's a computerized system only, because it is linked with the UV software, right?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear. So
Yeah, that is a computer system.
yeah, it's a
Computer.
computerized system only. So first of all, we should be very careful while doing changes, any kind of changes to a GXP system. Okay, like GXP system in the sense with with whatever the system we are using when we are generating a data. Okay, we are generating a data, or ultimately which we are providing to the regulators. So those systems, okay, so while shifting or doing those things like operating systems, we need to do the analysis of that, and before that we need to check with the vendor. Okay, like what is our software like UV, if you say like UV 2.3 or UV some X version. Okay, so this is the software I am having in my laboratory. If you see in the installation qualification, we'll check those things only. Okay, why? Because vendor will give what is the operating software that particular what are the software that they have given will support. Okay, for example, if you say Empower, it will support Windows 10 as well. If you say Tymo, it will support Windows 10 as well. But if you say UV, IR, okay, IR solutions, this softwares, it will not support Windows 10. Okay, so we need to check with vendor. Okay, we need to push an update to the operating systems. We don't have an other alternative because Microsoft is no longer supporting to Windows 7. So we need to upgrade to the Windows 10. So what we have to do, so that we need to check with the vendor. They will say like any additional features, or you need to upgrade your existing software to next version, or they will say like we are also no longer supporting that software, we stopped supporting the software, you have to take the new software, or you have to upgrade to the next version of the software. Okay, so that need to be checked before doing that only. Okay, after doing that we cannot do anything. Okay, because see that design level or configuration level, whatever the fixes they have done, that we are not sure, right? We just rely on the data whatever they have given. See, they will say like this system is designed to support till Windows 7 only, or this system is designed to support till Windows 8 only. Okay, they will give that what is the operating system that this particular software will support. Okay, see, in the design level they have to make the changes and they have to upgrade their software. Okay, they have to do some coding as well. So in that case we can't fix anything in that case. Okay, so if you ask a remedy for that, what we have to do is if possible we have to create a virtual machine for that with the existing whatever operating system we have. See, they are not going to give the support if you have any issues, but they will not stop that particular operating system. Okay, so you can use that operating system. Okay, by luck, if you don't have any issues, then that will be good. You should create a virtual machine, okay, for that particular software, for that particular application, and you have to check the data over there. Okay, in case if you are no longer using that system, okay, that we can suggest as a remedy for that. Is that clear, Venkat?
Yeah, it's clear.
Yeah. Okay, fine. So this is the complete flow of the validation. Okay, from Monday I am going to start from the risk assessments, okay, and the system categorization. So we are going completely into the subject. Okay, so risk assessment is the major thing while validating the software. So requesting all of you not to miss any of the class, and especially the Monday class where I am starting the system risk assessments and system categorization. Okay,
So let's, I have a question.
yeah, Gandhi.
Yeah, as you said that vendor supplier edit is required for every new instrument, or what? It is mandatory.
See, instrument is different and the software is different. Okay, so here when procuring a software, it depends on the category of the software to whether the vendor audit is required or not. Okay, so what gives us the deliverables is here this thing: system categorization, system risk assessment will give all the things, whether vendor audit is required, what level of testing we need to do, what level of other things we need to perform, what are the validation deliverables that need to be fixed. Everything will be given by the system categorization and the system risk assessment. Okay, so if you ask me vendor audit is required or not, it is not required for our category of the systems. We have 4 categories of computerized system as per GAM guidelines: category 1, category 3, category 4, and category 5. Okay, so category 4 and 5 mostly we are doing the vendor assessment. If we are not doing the vendor assessment, then the vendor audit is required. Okay, so when I'm explaining the further classes like the supplier or vendor assessment, I'll explain in detail. Okay.
Thank you.
Suresh, one question I have.
Yeah, Anji.
Before taking any new software, before procuring any software from the vendor, any change control procedure is there? Like how we are following in Pharma?
Yes, we have to. That it will come in the initiation phase. Okay.
Yeah, it is part of initiation phase.
Yes. See, without
And training.
Yeah, training will come as part of before validation reporting. Okay, because in the validation plan we will mention like what are the training required or what are the documents or SOPs that need to be updated. Everything will be updated in the validation protocol. Okay, that will be checked whether it's fulfilled or not. That will be checked before preparing the validation summary report. Okay, what are the trainings we have given and what is the SOPs that we have prepared for that and what are the operational procedures that we need to follow, all will be covered in the validation summary report. Okay,
training.
Yeah, training as well.
Training to the. Okay.
Everything will be covered in the validation protocol.
And one more thing, like traceability matrix, I have seen in the Google.
Yes.
So there are many regulatory requirements. So
Yes.
that test where we have to perform, like before OQ only or during OQ?
No. Traceability matrix is nothing but we are linking the traceability. For example, whatever the requirements we are giving in the URS, whether it's fulfilled or not. If it is fulfilled, in which in which part of the testing it's fulfilled. Okay. For example, in URS, user will say like I need this architecture. Okay. So that architecture will be fulfilled in the installation qualification. So we will give the reference of this TP in the traceability matrix, saying like URS point so and so is fulfilled with this TP, okay, with this test procedure. And they may ask, like as I said, like a mobile example, 128 megapixel camera they want. Okay, that will be fulfilled in the functional specification. So that will be tested in against the operational qualification. So we'll give the link of the operational qualification TP where we are checking the whether 128 megapixel camera is fixed or not. We'll give the reference of that. For URS so and so 128 megapixel point, so it was fulfilled in this TP. So that is how we are tracing the things. Okay, so that is nothing but called as the traceability matrix. That will be come after the operational qualification, not before the URS.
So that all the requirements is applicable for all the categories, or it is depends on the category, like only few categories.
Traceability matrix is a completely different thing. Okay, it doesn't depend on any category of the system, whether whatever the category of the system. See, whatever the URS you are having, whatever you are checking, that you need to link to the traceability matrix, right? You have to
So
trace.
you mean to say like all requirements is common for all the categories? Is it correct?
No, not that, Anji. See, requirements will differ on the system risk assessment and system categorization. Okay, if you take category 3 system, the requirements will be less. If you take category 4 systems, the requirements will be little high because the risk is high. If you take category 5 system, the risk is very high. Okay, so the requirements or the level of validation deliverables will increase depending on the category of the system. But if you ask me, traceability matrix will it doesn't depend on the category of the system. Okay, it depends on the URS. Okay, mostly we will or the design or configuration specifications, whatever we are asking and vendor is doing, where it was fulfilled, that we will tracing through the traceability matrix. That will link to the traceability matrix. Okay.
It's fine.
Yeah. Let me quickly explain you the environments and I'll start waterfall methodology in the next class. Okay, so we are having a different environments while validating the system. So mostly we are having 3 environments. One is the development environment, the other one is the QA environment, and the other one is the production environment. So development environment will be used in while developing the software. if you see, like if you're in-house or if your team member is developing any software, they will do all those code level changes in the development environment. Once the development is done, so whatever the testing we are doing, that we'll do in the QA environment. Okay, whether all the requirements are fulfilled or not, because in order to do in the production environment, depends on the business continuity or depends on the systems we have, depends on that. Sometimes we'll do in the production environment, if not mostly for the large systems we'll do in the QA quality environment. So we'll test the software. Okay, whatever the testing is there, that we'll do in the quality environment. After that, the production environment. Production environment is nothing but whatever the end users are using, that is called the production environment. In production environment, we'll do the minimal testing, because all the testing will be done in the quality environment. With minimal testing, with minimal things, we'll just check and confirm, and we will go live in the production environment. Okay, so again, these environments will be coming in the upcoming classes. So I'm just giving a brief description about this in order not to have the confusion while explaining in detail in future. Okay, so this is all about today's class. On Monday's class, we are going to discuss about the risk assessments, and we are going to start our major topics. Okay, so don't miss the class. If you don't have any doubts, then we can talk. Yeah.
One small question, Suresh, finally.
Yes.
Do we have regular audits in IT companies also? Like how we are facing in pharma company, monthly twice, three audits. So same way we can expect in IT company, or there is no audit?
See, if we are working for IT companies also, we are working for the pharma or medical device or the clinical trial industries only, right? Unless you are working in a core software developing company. Okay. Apart from that, if you are supporting, for example, if you take me, I am working in one of the largest IT company, but I am supporting to a pharma client. Okay. So
Yeah.
whenever there is an audit to that pharma company, so we need to support. Okay, it's not like how we are supporting in India. The support will be different. There will be separate dedicated people for that. Okay, so from the validation perspective, maybe our manager or TL will be involving into that. Okay, we may no need to involve much as like we are doing in the pharma industry.
Means when they ask any doubts, we have to support them. That's all.
Yes, it depends on the client
Yes.
requirement. Mostly the client side people will support along with one validation guy. If at all it comes to us, like whatever we have validated, if they ask questions on that, then that time it is required. But mostly if you ask me, when compared to pharma, not that much. Okay, like the extent of support that we are providing in pharma is very high when compared to IT. Yeah. Okay, fine. Then if we don't have any doubts, then I'm winding up for today. Okay, we'll meet you all on Monday. Okay, have a great
Thank you, Suresh.
Yeah,
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you, Suresh.